What's up, everybody? It's Wukepedia, and I've got another 7 Days to Die mod review for you. This one is War3Zuk, and we played in the 19.6 version. The first thing I'll say about the mod is I consider the base game, vanilla 7 Days to Die, like having a beer with the boys. It's relaxing, you have some fun, you enjoy your time, and you move on. And then you get some of the mods that really drag things out and they extend the parts that we like, and that's kind of a fine wine with dinner, and you enjoy that, and it takes longer. War3Zuk is vodka and Red Bull. You are here to party, and it's happening now, and there is no stopping this fucking train. Now, that may sound good, but when we all like to enjoy ourselves for a longer period of time, this one was very short-lived. So let me explain. Starter kit, you start with this little clipboard, and you get to choose your class. And we were looking through, and you get to see like what you start with. And at first we were like, wait a minute, we start with a bunch of weapons, and they're going to start us out with a pistol and a rifle. I went with medic. And I've got a medic kit here so you can see what I start with, so just ignore whatever's in this top bar. Actually, it's going to add AP ammo, but... So you get 200 rounds of AP ammo, it went up. And then after the first aid kit, so you get some food, no big deal. Plaster cast, I went medic because I wanted to get the first aid kit and the bandage schematic done. But it also gave a pistol and 200 rounds. And some stuff to get going. Some steroids, which actually were really important early on because the inventory is filled with encumbrance. Anyway, the zombies and a baseball bat. I got a 5 and a 2 pistol, so the quality is random. But even a medic gets a pistol right off the bat, and it's a Magnum. The game does not stay very difficult very long when you have 200 rounds of AP. Or 200 HP ammo, and you skip the whole beginning. I never touched a bow. I made it for the quest, and then I dumped it in the trash. Just never needed it. So, like, the beginning part of the game, it is a bit slow, and some people don't enjoy that, and I understand that. But it was over now. There was no, hey, I think I'm feeling a buzz. It was, we're partying, and we're killing zombies, and I'm not in danger. So, it's a little fast. There's a few things that definitely need some balancing. These HD pump jacks, they get a very wide range of things, and they're not terribly expensive to make. So, like, there was some stone and some clay. Like, here's a stack of 6,000 oil shale, and some nails, and there's, like, brass radiators and oil cans, like... The amount of material you get out of these pump jacks and how frequently you can open them up is absurd. You can even get duct tape. Like, I don't know who thought this was a good idea. It really breaks the game quickly, and obviously we never mined again once we made these. But we did an awful lot of mining. The game also introduces some diseases. So instead of just being infected, which is still in the game, there are now additional diseases that you can get that are from nurses. So a nurse can give you MRSA, and a stripper can give you bollock rot, and the birds, which, how many of us love the birds, give us bird flu. And it's just a chance when they hit you, but again, this is another problem I have actually with the mod. I have 104 armor rating, which shouldn't be possible. Everybody hits me for 1 now. Nobody hits me for anything more than 1. I take more damage from bleeding in the fire than anything. And I have full steel armor with tons of things on it. 1 hit from a bird, and I got bird flu. So I was like, oh, it's just bird flu, take an antibiotic. No, that's not the case. So an antibiotic doesn't cure bird flu. You have to make one of these extra kits that they made. You have to have an injection kit for the MRSA, and they're all the exact same recipe, but you have to have the right one for your disease. So we made a couple to have them sitting around, but we ended up just stopping because we had to make... So first of all, we had to make first aid kits, and then we had to make heavy-duty first aid kits, and then we had to make these into one of these injections, which is the exact same recipe on all of them. But you have to have the right one, and if you get it while you're out and about, it gives you 60 minutes of that disease, and then it gives you 60 seconds and you die. So usually 1 day is 1 hour, so within 1 day's time, you are a dead man. 1 day's incubation time of being touched by an undead bird, and you're done. So I have yet to die. I have 7,770 or 7,000 kills on zombies. I have no deaths. We've been playing with 3 or 4 other people. I'm level 134, which is actually the end. There might be more levels, but I have every single point in every single perk and every tree. So the game's over for me. I have every book. Because you get 2 skill points per level and a couple skill points from quests. So yeah, I mean, getting bird flu when you're out looting just means I have to go home now. Because you rarely bring the stuff with you, and if you don't have it or you can't find it, which is actually fairly expensive. I mean, it's 2 antibiotics, vitamins, having a HD first aid kit, so you have to have a chem bench around to make one if you don't have the stuff. And bandages, who cares? But you gotta have 2 grain alcohol because you need 1 for the first aid kit and 1 for the heavy duty. It just isn't a fun system, and it wasn't creatively solved for how to cure it. It's just kind of, well, just make them make this extra, healing kit. And also these healing kits heal. I feel like I'm wasting it. They heal for 180. It's an injection to stop an infection, yet it still has the first aid kit baked into it. So I don't... Just more things into the inventory that's not needed. Which is another problem with the mod. They added a ton of recipes because they wanted heavy duty whatever. Which is cool. There was definitely some interesting things, but we have 3 boxes filled with new schematics. So these are all the perk books, most of them actually, bled into there. And then we've got some of the schematics and stuff. And like we had to have 3 chests for schematics in this one because there was just so many added. And most of them aren't really relevant. Like a heavy duty chainsaw. Okay, 1 person needs to read that. A lot of these like are add-ons to special benches that they had us make for like creating ammo and guns, and 1 person has to make them 1 time per bench. Doesn't really make sense. And the HD first aid schematic is far more common. We've sold hundreds of these things to the traders, which don't go at a very high rate. And then you can also scrap the new ones. So you can make schematics. So if you get 50 of them, you could scrap them. I think one of them is 100 even. I don't know. It was a nice try. I was annoyed. And also some of the ratios on the ammo. So like, there's a box of shells you can make in the kit here. But if you make a bundle of ammo, because you have to make you can't make boxes here, but you can make HD ammo bundles, and they do the exact same thing, and most of them cost the exact same materials, but some of them are off because they just typoed it, and it's annoying. So you can make bundles in the ammo bench, whatever this is, I don't know, and then you can make boxes in the original ones. I mean, the amount of guns that they added, like, they have so many. We made almost one of everything. A double barrel shotgun that holds 9 rounds, by the way. Double barrel, but 9 bullets go into it. Like, that's what we're dealing with. Here's a Desert Eagle, shoots 45 Magnum bullets. Or maybe this was 50, I'm not sure. But it's not a Magnum, it's just an HD pistol. It's not a Magnum. So all of your Magnum perks are out the window. So a lot of these guns, they only half deal with like the perks that you want, and then other ones don't at all. but they added a lot of like Call of Duty weapons, like the original stuff, and they're just, most of them have an insane amount of durability. I don't think I've ever repaired this thing. Ammo, brass is just out of control. They added this thing called brass wire that you find in wine barrels. Don't ask. And so when you melt it down, you get a ton. This is 64,000 brass. This would probably take you 2 good prefabs that have wine barrels in them. 64,000 brass scrapping, so you're losing some. There's 106,000 brass that we're not using. Like we've never been short on bullets. I've never ran out of bullets. I never stopped using the level 2 Vulcan Desert Vulture that I got. We had so many materials that we never ran out. So some more complaints I have, I guess, but problems with the mod, and this is a review. Farming is bugged. So everybody knows farming, you punch the crop and you get it, and then it replants. Now if you accidentally punch this will regrow, but you can't punch it. It'll have 0 HP, and you can't punch it. You have to actually pick it up. I don't know why they allow us to pick it up, because I have the full farming perk. I'm only getting 1 per pickup. But if I punch it, I get 3 and XP. So they're letting us pick it up, which is just a noob trap. But then sometimes you have to, because, yeah, so here's one. This is not lootable, this is not breakable. There's also a couple other blocks in the game that spawn in prefabs that are like this. Very annoying. You can't do anything to get rid of it other than pick it up or break the block underneath it. And it happens more frequently when you start farming with a weed whacker, which is probably more of a tip than anything, but this thing has infinite durability and it's meant for whacking weeds, but it counts as a punch and it harvests crops really quickly. But when you start getting, you know, further up and then you start hitting them occasionally, when you're getting into your potatoes and stuff, and then you'll hit one, you get stuff like this, and then you have to like just pull it up, and you only get the one that you planted back because seeds are 1-to-1 in this. So farming is bugged. Let's see, there's too many traders. At first I was kind of excited. I was like, holy crap, there's prefabs. They added new prefabs that have traders, and they have 4 traders in them. So these are very common. They're in almost every town. We have a spot over here that technically has 16 traders within a block and a half. So this one is 4, this one is 4, this one is 4. So this close to each other, within a 3-building length, there are 16 traders in that town. The amount of missions and the amount of trading that you can do is absurd. They're just sitting here, and most of these can be interacted with at night in the underground one. So if I ever do a pack like this again, I'm honestly going to consider doing a no trade run, because traders really ruin it very quickly, especially when you can buy anything you want from any of them, and they will buy any number of anything you want to sell to them, because you have 20 traders within a minute ride of you. So there's quest lines for each of the perks, not all of them, but so for each of these classes, I think most of them have a quest line. I think, well, 5 of them do, because there's 5 pieces of armor. Not sure which 5, but after 5 steps of each of those, they give you a reward. So if you finish the gunman quest while you're, killing some zombies with stuff, which is actually a pretty long quest line, and they take you through all the weapons. They give you a skill point, a Dragunov sniper rifle, a scope that only works on that, a silencer that only works on that, the class gunman vending machine, and then the hazmat schematic. The hazmat schematics are armor mods that reduce or remove radiation poisoning from you, which we were thinking Darkness Falls, cool. There's going to be a whole zone that's irradiated, and we have to do this quest line to get there. Maybe once I finish the hazmat creation quest. No. There's none of that. This is the vending machines. They sell you at a full discount any item you could ever want. Crazy amounts of items. That's like, it just the quest rewards from doing the quests are too strong. The vending machines that you get at the end just mean you just sell everything to the trader, come back to base, and get the stuff you need. It gets kind of crazy. But like, we were hoping for some sort of end game after like the radiation suit craft. There was nothing. There was no quest reward. It was just you can throw mods in your armor that give you radiation protection now. Now, if you explore a bit, you'll find some radiation areas. So this is a prefab, which was a really cool prefab, you know, to be fair. And it was irradiated. You could only go in there once you had this. And it was like 4 or 5 damage a second. So it was significant enough where you wouldn't be able to live in there very long without really heavy med use. So when we went in there and we were expecting, well, maybe there's a unique type of loot container that'll lead us somewhere. No. It was just, once you've done this, all 5 of these huge quest lines made an insane set of hazmat gear, which, let me show you. So the Hazmat Fiber is 250 plant fibers, 250 scrap, 20 duct tape, and 4 acid. This is per 10. Each of these is 40, and more polymer, more sewing kits, more duct tape. I think I did the math, it was somewhere around like 600 duct tape per hazmat set, and something like 2,000 polymer and 3,000 plant fibers. It's just insane how much material and how much time we had to do gathering this material that is normally fairly abundant, but you don't have a huge drain on it. But we did it hoping there would be something at the end of that, and it's just, those prefabs you couldn't go into. Now you can. There's a couple in each town. Some towns don't have any. Like our first 3 main towns, there was one, and it was a nuclear power plant. And it was pretty neat, but not really worth the investment. The game is not completed by doing that. There are some definitely cool prefabs, though. I do like the prefab pack that they used. There's a lot of really cool objects that spawn in the world. If you guys have seen the zombie tramp stuff before, these will show up in prefabs instead of the normal paintings of the people. And there's also a couple others like movie posters like Harry Potter and Supernatural and stuff like that. And those will just show up, like here's one. So instead of a normal painting, this will show up. And that's really cool. It's kind of a whole nother level of immersion instead of, there's that stupid painting again, let's look behind it for a safe. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, like this was definitely a sprint, not a marathon. If you got a week to blow, this would be a decent pack for you for sure. There's also a very decent vehicle variety, but there wasn't much reason to have a variety of vehicles. So we got a couple full-fledged helicopters upstairs. Both of them have multiple seats. I think the white ones only have 2 seats, and then this one's got 4. They don't have any more storage than any other vehicle in the game. So with the amount of material you pick up as in a group of people, you just can't go in a helicopter together and get anything done. It's too much inventory management. Some of the paints on the vehicles are a little bit too saturated, I think is the word. But there's definitely a nice variety of vehicles. Like the airplane was almost impossible to drive. The steering is inverted while on the ground, left and right, not up and down. So if I look to the right, the plane starts turning to where I'm not looking. So anyway, it was very difficult to fly. But yeah, there's definitely some really cool paint jobs and stuff. They've got these elevator blocks that will raise and lower. They work pretty well. Don't be underneath them when they come down. Got colored motorcycles, which is a huge addition. And then you got some cruisers, some junkers. but they almost all go about the same speed, and they almost all have the exact same storage. Actually, I think they all do. Even the bicycles, like the vehicle storage, even on a pedal bike, they just buffed the hell out of it. It's full storage. These four-wheelers we found were probably the best ones in the game. They are real snappy. They just get up and go, and they're smaller, so they're like a motorcycle, but they fly. So the vehicle variety was nice. There's definitely a lot of choices, but we all just ended up driving four-wheelers because they're too fast, and there's no storage cost to it. This was the most recent horde base we did. It worked fine. You basically just stand up on top. There are a lot of new zombies in this, and they do have a lot more health, but standard horde bases work just fine. These worked. This was just from one night. We had a boomer on this one, so we just swapped sides. Nothing too significant there. Like Darkness Falls for us, they actually have a couple of the big behemoth zombies from Darkness Falls, I think. But it wasn't enough to really change the way we do horde bases. We didn't need to make them wider or anything. This was our first one over here. And this is also another unique trader to the left. He's got like one of every car in his parking lot, and then he's a mechanic. I'm not going to spoil anything for you if you ever find one. The screamers sort of exist. It seems like with enough heat, screamer bears exist more frequently. So we just made a little ramp, and they come around the corners, and we shoot them here, and they come down here, and we shoot them. Put a little thumper here, and it knocks them down again. I usually sit here with my junk turrets as well, and they just keep trying to run up to my buddies up there, and we just sit here and pound them down all night. It was not difficult. It was pretty relaxing to have the horde night. We would just try and schedule it so that we'd all be around at the same time. The only thing different I did with our base is because there's buzzards, so I threw some spikes on the roof to kill the buzzards. It's just really no change from vanilla for horde night, so it wasn't super interesting there. Yeah, I mean, the mod was fine. It needs some work, it needs some balancing, but overall, it wasn't bad. I would recommend it, but it just wasn't holding up to the quality level that I expected with other mods. If this mod came out 10 years ago, 5 years ago, it'd be amazing. But we've just kind of grown accustomed to having a higher level of quality lately. I hope you guys have enjoyed the review. I will throw out a tips video as well, and I stream almost every day. If you guys want to catch me or ask me any questions, hit me up in the comments. I'm still answering questions on my Darkness Falls videos from like a year ago. I love talking about 7 Days to Die. I'm pretty passionate about these mods, and let me know if you ever want to hang out. Catch me on Twitch. Have a good night, everybody.